Heartbeam presents a visual journey of the soul. In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, there lived a monk. He was a kind and gentle soul who dedicated his life to serving the divine. Day after day, he followed his spiritual path, finding solace in solitude and the serenity of his surroundings. But there was always a nagging feeling in his heart, a deep sense of loneliness that whispered that something was missing in his life. One morning, as the sun began its golden ascent and the birds filled the air with their melodious songs, a thin stray dog wandered into the monastery. He looked up with soulful eyes that seemed to hold a world of sadness and longing. The dog was hungry and tired from his journey, and his ribs showed through his matted fur. Seeing the dog's pitiful state, the monk's heart went out to him. Despite having little to spare, he shared his piece of bread and a bowl of fresh water with the weary animal. The dog lapped up the water gratefully and devoured the bread as if it were a feast. For a moment, the monk felt a warmth spread through his chest, a feeling that transcended the physical act of giving. He didn't expect anything in return, but the dog had other plans. The next day, to the monk's surprise, the dog returned to the monastery. He had walked several miles, his tail wagging hopefully, hoping for another chance to share in the monk's simple meal. Touched by the dog's persistence and gratitude, the monk welcomed him back, offering him food and a warm place by the hearth to rest. And so it continued. Day after day, the dog became a regular visitor, showing up at the monastery just as the sun began its daily dance across the sky. As the days turned into weeks, an extraordinary bond formed between the monk and the stray dog. The dog, once thin and hungry, now had a healthy coat, a shiny and wagging tail, and most importantly, a home and a friend. The monk named him Dharma, which meant good or virtuous. In his native tongue, the dog's presence filled the monastery with life and joy. He would sit quietly by the monk's side during his meditation, his head resting on his paws, eyes closed in peaceful contemplation. When the monk walked in the garden, Dharma would trot alongside him, his tail held high with pride. At sunrise, they would greet the new day together, the dog barking joyfully as the monk recited his morning prayers. And then one day, as the sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, the monk sat down to meditate when Dharma suddenly got up and started pacing around the room. The monk opened his eyes, a question forming in his mind. Could something be bothering his furry friend? Just then, Dharma let out a soft whimper and nudged the monk's hand with his wet nose. The monk felt a pang of concern and followed Dharma outside. To his surprise, Dharma led him to a nearby bush and started licking it. With gentle curiosity, the monk approached the bush and noticed a small, shivering kitten. Its eyes were tightly shut, and it was too weak to meow. Realizing the kitten needed urgent help, the monk scooped it up and rushed back to the monastery. With the kitten safe and warm inside, the monk couldn't help but smile. He understood Dharma hadn't just brought him a gift, but had also taught him a valuable lesson. In that moment, the monk's years of solitude seemed to vanish. He realized Dharma had given him something truly priceless during their time together. He'd experienced the unconditional love of a companion and the quiet comfort of a friend. Looking into Dharma's adoring eyes, the monk felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Dharma had not only filled his life with companionship, but had also reminded him of the transformative power of kindness. And so the monk continued his spiritual journey, no longer walking the path of solitude. Instead, he shared his life with a dog who had once been lost and alone, just as he had been in his own way. They spent their days in quiet companionship, their bond deepening with each passing moment. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the monk and Dharma would curl up together by the fire. Two souls who had found solace and love in the most unexpected of places. The cycle of seasons came and went, and with each year that passed, the bond between the monk and Dharma grew stronger. They had become more than just a monk and his dog. They were companions, confidants, and most importantly, friends. Their story became a beacon of warmth and kindness, drawing people from far and wide to witness the extraordinary connection they shared. Sometimes the greatest teachers come in the most unexpected forms. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with us. If it touched something in your heart, stay a while. Subscribe for more gentle journeys every week. This is Heartbeam, where emotion finds its echo.